Hey, Ken Colbert here.
Cheryl Banniger-Smith here.
And we are Republicans in bad standing.
And we got a lot to talk about.
We do.
We do. And so there's all kinds of things going on, and it involves money. Can you imagine
Always.
that?
It's always the root of evil, okay?
It's always the money.
Right.
And it hit you this time.
Oh, it did.
Personally.
Hey, personally, in fact, it's involving the IURC. But this time, it's with the Evansville Water Department.
Yeah.
Many of them know that I own a business, in Evansville. And we've been on auto pay for years, for our water consumption. We only have 2 bathrooms here. We've got 2 toilets.
No shower.
No shower, no dishwasher,
no.
2 toilets. Okay, so I get this bill and it comes through, and usually the water bill is pretty affordable. It's like $88 a month. You know, you expect that, and you see the auto withdrawal come out. Okay, so I get my bill. And this just recently happened, and of course I have a little dispute going on with the city of Evansville right now and trying to get an explanation from them. I've talked to them, and we'll get into that a little bit. But the bill comes in, and the bill's not $88, it's $800.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of
got
money.
An extra zero.
Yes. So I'm like, what's going on? So I checked my bank account to see if it had been withdrawn, which it had not, and I thought, that's really odd. So sure enough, somehow it got taken off auto withdrawal, this $800. I thought, that's interesting. So the next month, I thought I had that resolved, and then the next bill comes, and they did not read my meter this time, and we tried to do an assessment, make sure there wasn't any leaks, the normal things that people would do. City came out, and sure enough, there were no leaks, but mysteriously, my water consumption here went up dramatically. Well, the next month, they decided that they would estimate my bill based upon the previous month. So here comes another bill for $800.
Oh my gosh.
So my water bill at this point, because they didn't make the auto deduction, because somehow it got taken off after years of being on auto withdrawal.
I get it. Yeah.
Okay, $1,600 water bill. And so I go down to the city and I'm like, okay, something's going on here. I said, first of all, I'm going to do a public access record because I'm pretty vocal with the city. And I want to make sure there's not any hanky-panky going on. All right. So I still don't have a response, in regards to that. But the point is, I have to pay this $1,600 water bill because if I don't, they're going to shut me off.
Well, why would you have to pay the second amount, making it $1,600 if have them come back?
That's my argument.
Come back out and read the meter.
Right, and they're being very adamant. I've been down there, I've spoken to them, it's all documented.
That doesn't even make sense.
So once I pay my bill, I'm going to go over and file in the courts. I'm going to sue them. I'm going to sue the city of Evansville. I got all the documents, I've got it.
If you pay that, you're going to be paid up for about 5 years.
Exactly. And there's no leak, and I have 2 toilets. Okay, so anyway, we'll keep you on the saga with that.
So you got to keep this under your budget. And
yeah, we all have budgets we have to stay within.
Yeah, but some don't.
And what are you talking about? Which organization?
Well,
the city of
have
Evansville.
You seen the city 2026 budget?
Yes, I've been going through some of the documents right now.
Well, you can't go through a whole lot of them. You have to take a month's vacation to go read all of it.
No, I understand.
You know how they do in Congress? It says, pass it. And
right.
Well, this one here has around 386 pages.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
They presented it, the mayor presented it to the city council twice now.
Right, and the third time.
And the third time's coming up on the 6th of October.
Do you think they've read any of this?
Well, first of all, for us folks,
right?
And you go look it up online, it's real small. You got to act like you're going to print a page, but you don't want to print 380 some pages.
Right, exactly.
But if you hit print, then it kind of makes it a little bit bigger. But even the expenses are still smaller than what they say they're going to have income coming in. So it's just...
But as people know, too, if you've ever been to the city council meeting, it doesn't matter what the budget says anyway, because they're always doing the shell game. They move this money around constantly. Constantly. Well, think about this. Think about last year's budget. I think it was $550 million based upon what they anticipated getting from federal, state, subsidies.
Oh, that's the other thing. It's, woe is me. We're not going to get quite as much from the federal or from our state. And they have to figure out.
Right, let's pass a wheel tax.
Yeah, like you had to figure out your budget. That's what this is.
Right, but they have a blank check is what it is.
It is, but one thing she says, no new taxes. I thought we just went to one of their meetings where they just tacked on wheel taxes on us.
They did.
Okay. I didn't
Right,
think
that's
I lost
another-
that memory. Okay, but they are going to do a pause in hiring, and they're going to, they say reduce capital spending and delayed any new vehicle purchases. Well, that's
How special of them.
it's probably not as old as the one I'm driving anyway.
No, right, exactly.
And also then they have another 1 million for affordable housing. How much affordable housing do we need? I mean, everything that's cropping up right now is affordable housing, whether it's by a EREP or they're putting in their city budget again, and then out there at Crawford Door.
Well, that's a good. Well, that's an EREP project.
That's another
too.
EREP project. How much affordable housing, and what exactly does affordable housing mean?
Right.
And exactly where are these locations? Because they just take our money and do what they want to do and don't tell us where.
Well, the cost per unit too, because I worked at the housing authority for
Yeah.
years, and it was so important to make sure you got a bang for the buck for the taxpayers. And a lot of these units that they're doing, these are out of state contractors coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, rather than keeping it local. Okay, and they're building these. And who are the end users? You see all of the properties that we have within the city that are literally falling apart. People need a program where they can do their own repairs to their own homes so that they can be more sovereign citizens.
That's right.
Who are these people that they're putting in these houses?
I know who they're not putting in them, and I know
Well,
a
we gotta-
family that
we
just
do.
moved in to a bad area, and they have 2 children. I mean, they're not in an affordable housing new
Right,
unit.
they were not given a priority on Section 8 vouchers, which
No,
we've talked about
they
that
waited
before.
a year.
Right.
And
They're
then they
giving
got-
priorities to the illegals. That's what they're doing.
That's
the
what
TPS.
I'm thinking too.
Yeah. But did you also mention about the budget too? This time they're only showing the general budget. So rather than the 550 million, they're only showing 140 million that is involving the basic city services. They're not even discussing all of these other programs that are coming in.
Well, here's another hoot. 4.5 million they've got here though for paving the roads for safety.
Oh,
I'm not kidding you.
now,
How does that figure into this? Okay.
see, yeah, this is not the wheel tax either. This
No,
is something else.
This is something else.
Where do they get this money from?
Probably
Or why are they not spending it? And they're moving it around the shell game again.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it is. That's what it
All
is. $500,000 for parks.
What are these the ones that are not maintaining, or is this part of it with that particular bond that they floated where there's $10 million missing?
Well, we got like a a miniature Magic Kingdom going on over at Garvin Park,
I saw that.
and that's where
That's
they're going to have
brand new.
affordable housing right across from it, plus the
Aquatic Center.
the
It's
aquatic
right there.
center. But our kids that live around Harkey Pool that was packed every summer,
Shameful.
they are not going to include restoring that pool.
No, not at all. They're going to do the same thing they did with the Lloyd Pool on the north side, tore the building down.
Yeah.
You watch, it's coming.
It's a shame because it was packed every summer. And I don't know why is this not in an affordable housing kind of an area, because
Well, remember what the city was doing, which is unbelievable on the safety aspect. Remember where they were saying where the kids could get on public transportation by themselves
Oh, I know, that's
and go
right.
swimming.
That's
So
right.
they have these kids unsupervised going around all over the city. Not a good idea.
not a good idea.
But
No.
again, we don't think like that.
No, I know. But also,
Oh, yeah, I saw the website upgrade. Remember, they told her, no, you're not doing this. Well, guess what? They're back. And,
it's just going to be snuck in there.
right. I
So-
mean, there's a lot of things in this budget that are hidden, and it's so difficult to navigate. And then you ask questions of the city council people, they're clueless.
Right. And so I challenge you to pull it up. It's just on the 2026 budget for
It
Vanderburgh
is.
County
On the website.
on the website. You'll be shocked. I mean,
Well,
you
choose your special interests, or maybe something in housing or education or
Yeah.
health.
Yeah.
Go to those line items, take a look about what they're doing with their money. Some of it's speculative, because they're anticipating they're going to get grants, which all of that's drying up because they've been overspending tax money
for years.
for years.
And the other thing, probably the icing on the cake, would be
Mm-hmm.
come to the city council meeting on the 6th. It starts at 5:30 supposedly.
That's Fall Festival week.
I know.
They're hoping nobody
the
shows
first
up.
night of the fall festival.
But they're not even going to talk about the budget. All they do is take a motion, they
or
pass
if they,
it.
or if they see too many of us there, they'll delay it again. but I think we should be there.
I'll be there.
And I think you should be there. So if you can,
I'll talk. I have questions. So
you have questions.
can't help it. You know, I'm inquisitive.
Well, that's okay. You speak for us.
I do.
I mean, so go at it.
Yeah.
I don't care. But anyway, put that on your agenda to on the 6th to skip the first night of the Fall Festival and come down there.
Sure.
Because they're thinking everybody's not going to skip it and be at the Fall Festival and they're going to pass it. And they still may pass it, but I think we need to have some input in it. So keep that on your radar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, on your radar.
Right.
If he's got to take care of his budget with his water.
Yeah, my water. Isn't that crazy?
That he didn't use.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so that's that. And then we're moving on to, we've had some pretty serious things happen in our school systems.
Right.
In the last, since August.
We have a lot. I mean, everything from, issues with guns, just all these safety things that is going on too.
Threats.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, a parent went to the last school board meeting and said that, she said something that I've been saying forever.
That's at Delaware, I think is where it was, elementary school.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But she says we need metal detectors in the schools, and I say that.
Yeah.
And I've been saying for years we need dogs to smell out drugs in the lockers.
Right. We got a problem, and they're not addressing it. They're blaming everything other, of course, the vernacular to gun violence.
Yeah.
That's.
And how about a police officer in every one of them?
Right.
Well,
Well, they do have a force. Remember, they got a grant.
Only 8.
Yeah, but some of the schools are not problematic like some of the others. Okay. Well, they all have their issues, okay?
They do.
And EVSC is not addressing these issues. They're not addressing them. And they keep it private from the public. We know this. They try to handle it themselves thinking that, well, we're the educators and we don't need to inform the parents of this particular situation.
I know one thing was, I think, was 2 weeks before anybody knew about it. But they did have an incident at Delaware Elementary. This young, and that's not a high school, and that young man was trying to sell an unloaded handgun. I guess he brought in his.
Did anyone buy it?
I don't know. I don't know.
That should have never happened from the parental guidance
and then
to the school corporation.
Yeah, right. And then this thing happened here at Tompkins School where I guess the kid was supposed to not even come to school because he got kicked out because the same thing, there was a gun involved.
Right. And he threatens.
Yeah, and he threatens, and he's like he's going to do,
but it's important to keep
problem.
The parents involved. I mean, if you had a threat like that, you would think there'd be an automatic text go out to all the parents, say, we got a problem, the school's on lockdown, but the parents don't know about it.
They don't want to get it on the news.
Well, it makes them look bad.
I know.
Is what it is.
And then this is not in Vanderburgh, but up in Castle, they did have somebody bring a gun there, and
I saw that.
The students were telling the principal in the office area that they were aware of it. So, but this has been going on for years. And
so what happens is now the legislature says, "Oh, we got a problem, so let's throw some more money at it."
Right.
And so they're all getting subsidy now.
Yeah. Well,
to solve
and remember
this problem.
how we talked last time about different schools were asking for different money.
Sure.
And they got basically what they wanted, but apparently they've gotten more money now for school safety.
They have.
Even though EVSC had the most money in anybody already.
Yeah, how much was that grant subsidy they got? Was it like over almost $600,000?
It was a lot.
And I think they're wanting to allocate that funding to go to their personnel.
They had $694,000, and now they got another $92,500.
Right. Now, the kicker for me, I have a real problem with this. This is a new law that went into effect July 1st of this year. The legislature increased what category the open door law would apply to school boards. And one of the categories they added was school safety and security. This means that they're having private meetings that the general public cannot observe, what they're spending it on, what they're talking about. And the classification, I saw this, there's at least 13 categories now that fall under the auspices of an executive session, which means we the people cannot know what they're discussing and how they're spending our money.
Well, they said here on what we looked up, it said that the legislators investment into school safety upgrades this year, added $27 million in state matching grants across 494 schools statewide, including 18 awarded in Vanderburgh County.
Right, these are matching grants, which using taxpayers' money again. Okay.
So, and Vanderburgh County received the most money, which was $694,000.
Well, they wrote an application or a grant saying we got problems down here. But the problem for me is I don't know what they're spending it on. Okay, they're not having open meetings, public meetings to discuss it.
So this says the grant fund is going to be used for a wide variety of school safety related endeavors, including employing school enforcement officers, conducting site vulnerability assessment.
What does that mean? Put fences up?
You need to lock that door.
Right.
You need to lock that door. You need to put a... I would have, if it was me, every door you go in and out, you would have a buzzer. Okay, so...
Where are the parents? Remember when in the old day you had parents come in throughout the day to help and assist, watch?
They probably don't want them anymore.
Right.
Well, anyway,
Right.
I'm
That's
just going to
another
leave it at
subject.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another
All right, keep
subject.
going, Cheryl.
I know. Or additions or renovations in school property if primary purpose is to enhance the physical security in the school. So, to me, it is metal detectors. It is the doors being locked, obviously, at all times. And if you're a parent, you got to show an ID. You should be able to see it from the buzzer that you might hit to say that you want to come into school.
But the other side of this, if they do these kinds of things, they take this money, they're going to have to recognize now that that school or these schools in Vanderburgh County are not being operated efficiently. Okay?
Correct.
And it's also, they give negative marks whenever you're having all of the crises and the students are leaving because of safety issues. It looks bad on the leadership. And
I was told by, and I don't know who it was now that told me that.
Right.
But the one up there in Newburgh,
Castle.
Okay. Sometimes the back door's left open, for the band to go in and out.
They'd probably prop it open so they can come in and out.
You think you could do that, but to this day and age,
Right.
you cannot do that.
With the motives of it.
It is crazy.
I agree.
It is crazy. So, I don't know. I mean, if I had a...
But it's like build it and they will come. The legislatures recognize there's a problem. It's like mental health. It's the same kind of deal. Let's throw money at this problem. But the problem is the people spending the money to fix the problem are the ones creating the situation.
Right. And I mean, I think everybody's voices need to be heard. We don't want our kids going through some kind of a massacre at their school and things like that.
You need to be proactive, fix the problem, not coddle these kids. They know who these troublesome kids
That's
are.
right.
They need help.
But it's not the gun that walked in, it's the person
Right.
that walked in that doesn't have...
That don't know their gender.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's all of the above.
Right,
And
right.
I'm not trying to make fun of it.
No,
It's
we're
just-
not. But it's you recognizing there's a problem. EVSC, from my perspective, is not addressing the concern.
Well, let's talk about common sense.
It's non-existent.
Right.
I don't see it.
Yeah, non-existence and at the expense of possibly our kids. So, I just think it's, in my mind, it just makes common sense to have a metal detector and have somebody standing there too, because if it goes off, you got to stop that kid
From coming in.
Okay,
Right.
I mean, it's just common sense.
What kind of barriers, though? I thought about this. What about the teachers' unions? They have an agenda.
Oh yeah.
So do they?
Oh,
have
they hate guns.
Right. So do they have a problem with protecting the kids now?
Yeah, they
just don't know.
they probably don't want the teachers or anybody in the school that knows how to use a
Operate
gun,
gun, yeah.
to have a gun.
Right, and they should.
They should.
Well, do you remember?
so
I remember
messed
back
up.
in high school too, where we would have a gun rack in the back of our
Oh,
pickup
yeah.
trucks. You took your gunshot.
Even
your
when my
shotguns.
daughter went to school in Mount Vernon, there was
And there's nothing wrong with it. We didn't have any shootings. And
no, because they used the guys who went out to hunt.
I get it.
But
But the people operating our school system right now, we've got to get really common sense people on there. And there's people on both sides of the aisle. We have to look sometimes on one side.
Right.
But the point is, we got to get people involved in the school system that have common sense, not these diplomas that say that they are have the level to teach our children, because they're failing miserably. I see this.
well, don't they take our tax money and do what they want to with it? Okay, so
Right.
but they never tell us what they're doing. It's behind closed doors. In fact, they're going to have behind closed doors meetings about the safety.
Right. Well, the legislature has done that. They allowed them those particular line items.
That's because the teachers union pushed it on them, probably.
Yeah, but again, my local representative, whether or not it be Tim O'Brien, whomever, it's a senator or the House side, why are they not listening to us? Why are they rubber stamping all this legislation without thinking outside the box again?
That's a question we can ask them. We ask them every time we see them.
Well, you know what? And the point is, this is where we the people will start making changes. We'll start running people on the ballot that are going to represent the people rather than the lobbyists, special interests,
Exactly.
teachers union. I sound like a soapbox here, don't I? I'm sorry.
Well, no.
But I'm speaking truth again.
It is the truth.
Right.
And the other option is, you want your kids safe?
Homeschool.
Homeschool them.
Take that money, and it takes money away from the school corporation, which they hate.
I know. But hey, that's your choices.
That's right.
You can do it. You can do it. And you've got a lot of power in when you do it.
Absolutely.
So, speaking
Let's
of,
talk about a slurry.
well, we can talk about that, or we could talk about that.
Which one you want?
Well, since we were talking about the school, let's
keep going.
Okay,
Let's
we'll
talk
talk
about
about the slurry
At the end.
at the end.
Yeah, because that's a whole lot of stuff.
I know.
Okay.
So the school corporation, who never has money, found money again.
Yeah, but they're partnering with another organization.
So this neighbor, it's funny how we find out things.
I know. We're well connected, aren't we?
This neighbor says, man, they just sold this land over here and they're not doing anything with it. Its weeds are 4 and 5 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
And well, who bought it? Well, we think it was a school corporation. And I said,
But it's not.
but it ends up.
Well, yes, it's going to be, yes.
Yeah. So, So you tell them who exactly bought this land. It's across from CFC on Millersburg Road.
Yeah, it's on the north side of the counties where it's at. And so we started digging into this and found out, and we even followed the money. We wanted to find out where the money's coming from, who the organization is that bought it. Organization that bought it is tax exempt. They have several not-for-profits set up, and of course we can get into detail about that too, but they have a 501c 2, 3, and 4. Right. And they use them for different, relationships is what it is. But it's actually, bottom line is, it is the Evansville VANDERBURGH Visitors Bureau.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Okay. So and again, got to
I'm
remind.
what is that? What are they going to do with this?
Right.
Not going to put a hotel on it.
Well, no, they're not. But they're taking a very active role in being the developer. This is a trend all over the state of Indiana. And again, people on this board, these are unelected officials. Okay.
Now we discovered this, 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago. And it's been done, though. It's been, when did they buy
A year ago.
Yeah, September of 2024.
Right.
That's when they did this.
And I think what drew their attention to tell us, because the buyer said they're going to just let it set.
It's not being maintained. It's a problem.
And the weeds that's growing on them are the kind of weeds that you can't hardly kill. So that whole neighborhood has to see, I'm talking how many acres?
62 acres, and there was 2 parcels involved.
Okay.
The largest one was 62 acres, and they end up paying $953,000 for this 62 acres. It was assessed at only $100,000. Okay. So again, once the Visitors Bureau takes possession of this, it's tax exempt, so they're not going to pay any taxes on this at all, so there's no benefit. But they're not maintaining it at this point. And so, there has to be a responsibility with the Visitors Bureau. They're going to put in their budget so that they can start maintaining that particular parcel.
We looked up the neighbors and all, they were concerned. And so a friend of mine looked it up about the weed control. It says over 9 inches, it's not supposed to get past 9.
What is it, 5 foot?
It's about 3 times that.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, and that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be nothing but, anyway, you go ahead and tell the rest of that, and we'll tell what it's going to end up being.
Oh, sure. So there was a second parcel involved, which had some real estate on it, buildings, primarily, but 2 acres, and they end up paying right at $78,000 for that. Okay, so you got these 2 pots of money. So I'm just curious
Over
again.
$1 million.
Over $1 million of money that is coming from the taxpayers. Now, this organization, of course, we love this particular report here. It's called the 990. It's on GuideStar, okay? And the most recent one that's published for the Visitors Bureau is from 2023, okay? And they're getting their funding from two segments. One is grants, whether or not it's either federal or state grants. And the other portion is through taxation, because every person in Vanderburgh County pays on their property tax, and one of the line items goes specifically to the Visitors Bureau. And we're talking significant amount of money annually, and it varies, based upon what's coming in. But it's approximately $4 to $5 million annually that they're getting for the Visitors Bureau, okay?
I never would have dreamt that the Visitors Bureau would buy this kind of acreage for what they're going to put on it.
Right. So then we found out that apparently there's going to be an interlocal agreement of these unelected officials, okay, that are going to enter into agreement with the Vanderburgh School Corporation.
EVSC.
Okay. So again, I'm not sure what they're doing, who's going to be, right now the title is in the Visitors Bureau. But in this, are they going to transfer it to EVSC? Are they going to transfer it to EVSC's foundation?
It's not going to be a school.
Right.
It's going to
Go
be
ahead.
baseball parks for high school.
Right. That's what the
Because
plan is.
the soccer field, the high schoolers hit the ball further than what they have property out there. So the soccer field, which is right there off of Green River and Millersburg, down the road. So this is going to probably butt up against it. I don't know that for sure.
Right.
But it's going to be very close.
Didn't you find, I find there's a trend with EVSC, rather than maintain what they existing have or make improvements to their own properties, they keep going out in the county further and further and further, rather than deal with the problems that they have with the school system within the system.
Well, yeah.
Think about Old North. It's still there. That's an eyesore. Okay?
Yeah, but they're using it for the innovative.
Yeah, these are the kids that can't
I know.
get through the system.
I got
okay?
it. I got it. And so, yeah, they are. To me, you always talk about a shell game. This is another shell game.
But again, these are unelected officials. These are people serving in this capacity, spending our tax dollars. Now, of course, the county commissioners and the city personnel or the city council appoint people to serve on there as their proxy.
So they bought it in 24, and then in 25, just let's see.
They had leadership change.
In March of 25, they have a new president or CEO of that Visitors Bureau. And his name's Tom White. And so, did he know what they bought it for when he took that position? I guess.
Probably. Well, but before that time, I think this is important for people to know because, again, you talk about generational people running the city. It is Joe Kiefer II, which is Joe Kiefer's son. He was previously in that leadership role at the Visitors Bureau. I mean, it's right here. It's on the 990. It's right here. Okay.
And just keeps.
It's perpetuating.
Yeah,
there you go. That's the word. That's the word I'm looking for. All
Hey,
right.
it's been a long day, but honestly,
it's so tiresome though. And you try to ask questions of these individuals, and they're so defensive.
they don't want to be. They don't want to be in the limelight.
Now, this should be a meeting that's open to the public.
Exactly.
So I think
the same thing should be a meeting to the open public about the problems in the school.
yes, because
I think that should be not behind closed doors.
no, I agree. And why would the legislature do that? They passed that so there's another barrier between the taxpayers,
We the people.
yes,
And them.
and the elected officials. They're using this as a barrier to help. Well,
hide things that they want to get done.
exactly.
I mean, it's as simple as that.
Yes, it is.
But anyway, that's another little thing that's on the horizon here. So I think we'll have to make some calls, and people that live in that area need to make some calls and say,
And get that mess cleaned up.
get the mess cleaned up. This is.
They're not good neighbors. It's just, again, going back to EVSC out where I live in McCutcheonville, that area. And again, not knowing, apparently there's a deal going down with the golf course. They will not tell us who is buying it, who the acquisition. They've not been good
They told us
neighbors
who
out
wasn't going to buy it because they might have alcohol if they rent out that event
Right,
center.
when we talked about that, and there's alcohol being sold right next to all their different facilities all
almost
over
every school.
everywhere.
Every school.
Yes.
I mean,
hypocrites.
It's hypocrite. But we don't know who they sold it to.
We don't know this.
And they told us that they didn't have a realtor. They were doing this
In-house.
themselves. But now we see where they're turned it over to a realtor to do the closing on it.
And who was it?
We don't know.
I got an idea.
I think
I'm
so.
not going to say it,
No, we'll
but
just-
I have an idea.
We have an idea. But just follow the chain of custody is what it is. That's what it is, of our tax dollars.
Right.
So,
But, you know, legally, they don't have to tell us now because the legislature says it's a real estate deal. So, therefore, we don't have to tell them.
can you imagine? I mean, they're using all of our taxpayers' money,
Right.
and they treat us like dirt. Not right.
No.
Speaking of dirt, they got
Oh,
some, they got some up in Warwick County right now that needs to be.
You mean the politicians or you mean the...
Well, both. Yeah, both.
Okay.
Both.
All right, let's talk about the slurry. That's what
I
we're
had
gonna
somebody
talk about.
contact me, sent me the news clip of it about the Warwick County. That they projected like this dam is
right.
going to break,
Fear mongering.
and
Hello.
people are going to die.
Right.
And so, go ahead, tell them a little bit about it because we've done some research and.
But we have, you know, you see these articles come out, and of course I question everything. And so they created this narrative again that it was going to cause like a massive flooding, you know, if this dam would burst. And so we started digging into it. And
When it's really not a dam.
No,
it's a slope. It says it's a slope.
right, that goes down to Pigeon Creek.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have to go back in time because in this area that there's problem in Warwick County, there was a lot of Amex coal was up there. So back in the 1970s, whenever they were draining the water out of the pits, they would create what's called a slurry, okay? And it's like a retention pond is what it is. So it's made up of coal ash, you know, right? It's like sludge is what it's like. Well, this particular pond has been there since the 1970s, but is approximately 50 feet from Pigeon Creek, okay? And so there was a company by the name of New Master Development, LLC, that bought this years ago, and the owner's name is Tom Newmaster, okay? So Tom Newmaster, you know, is trying to develop some of the land up there. I think he's done some housing opportunities and things of that nature.
Hopefully not around here.
No, who would buy next to that? Hello. But the point is, this is on Mr. Newmaster's property. So ultimately, who's responsible for it?
Mr. Newmaster.
Right. So you start researching and come to find out the DNR agrees with this too. Now, I do know that they had a gentleman from Warwick County who is the county surveyor. I think his name is Dennis Wilsbacher.
Right.
Is that correct? Okay.
We'll just call him Dennis.
We'll call him Dennis. Make sure we don't slip that up. Okay. So apparently Dennis has been out to the site, you know, to take a look at it, do an assessment, you know, about what can be done, or if it even is a problem. Of course, the news media jumps on this and they try to create the aura that this is a major problem. We're going to have massive flooding, you know, creating that narrative.
Oh, yeah.
But the bottom line and what we find out is by law, the property owner, Mr. Newmaster, by law, has to provide a report every 2 years to DNR about the stability of this retention pond to see whether or not it's going to come into Pigeon Creek.
Because it has all this slush.
Yeah, that's in there. And I get that.
I do
you
too.
know.
I
And
wouldn't
so-
want it in my backyard.
Right. So then you get the elected officials involved about, you know, who they're pointing fingers, who's responsible. The bottom line is the property owner. But you would think, in my opinion, that people like Cindy Ledbetter, she's in that district. Perhaps she should work with Mr. Newmaster to see if maybe there's some grant opportunity. There may be some money out there to help solve the problem, if there is a problem.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they could dig another pond and then redirect that sludge from point A to point B away from Pigeon Creek. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is, I was so disappointed with the fear-mongering that the article was coming out. But again, the bottom line is this property owner ultimately, like any other property owner, is responsible for their real estate.
Right. And so Dennis has told him, you know, he doesn't recall any kind of reports he's ever gotten.
Right, to help review. Right.
And he doesn't think it's going to be major, but over time it could be if they don't do something about
Well,
it.
it's been there since the 1970s.
I know,
You know, a
I
long
know.
time. But you know what? If they set a precedent, let's say Cindy Ledbetter, you know, is wanting to help her constituent out, and they find some grant opportunities, setting a precedent. Because at that point, any other property owner in Warwick County, or any place in the state, basically, that would have a problem with their personal property, whether or not it's, you know, contaminated oil, whatever, okay? That the expectations being set, the standards being set that, hey, you know what, we can use taxpayers' money to fix this problem when I didn't even create the problem.
Well, that's true.
Right.
That is true. And we don't want, they're talking about, it's called the Bluegrass Fish and Wildlife Area, I think it is.
Well, it abuts that. That's really
Yeah.
nice. We've gone kayaking up in that
Yeah.
area as well,
Yeah.
but it's close to that area as well.
Yeah, yeah. So, but they always have had this, it's kind of like the Hatfields and McCoy between Vanderburgh and Warwick about Pigeon Creek. I mean, there was a big hoodoo about that not long ago.
Well, yeah, and this is the other thing. Now they're trying to create a taxing unit. I have a real problem with this. Common sense is not there. I know Dennis was involved in that too, because I think
Right.
they had a log jam and they were concerned. Yeah, concerned about this log jam, how it was going to impede the flow from Warwick into Vanderburgh
Now,
County.
I listened, because you could listen to that court proceeding, and it was kind of boring, but I was determined to listen to it
the end.
To the end. They talked for an hour and a half, took a break, came back, talked some more, and and then finally Dennis says, are you guys okay if the farmer, because then nobody wanted to take the responsibility to do the right thing, Vanderburgh or Warwick.
Right, but they all wanted to pass taxes so we'd have this slush
So
fund.
finally Dennis says, are you all okay for the farmer? He'll take the responsibility to put dynamite in there.
Common sense, come
Common
on.
sense,
Come
and
on.
he'll get the logs out with with the
Right.
explosive,
And clean it out.
and he'll clean it out. And they said yes, and I'm thinking, I've
Took
been
an
listening.
hour and a half to get to that point.
It was unbelievable.
But you know, the bottom line is, because I don't trust our elected officials, because they're trying to put in another tax, like the wheel tax, whatever it may be, and try to justify it. So they're going to generate all this money, and then they have an opportunity to play the shell game to move it from one budget into something else.
Well, I doubt too many of them that were with the legislators that on this particular thing about what I just said
Right.
were farmers. They had no clue.
No clue.
No, you're not going to be a doctor and tell them how to figure out how to
Right.
get rid of the log jam. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, they are in mental health.
That's
though,
why-
so,
that's
you
what I
know.
was referring to.
I know what you're saying.
But anyway, it's again, almost every situation we talked about tonight,
Yes.
it needs common sense.
I know, it's crazy.
I mean,
follow the money too, constantly.
Every situation was common sense. Even you talking to the water department, if they see your bill for years has been $88 to $100, and they see that, wouldn't they want to question and
Well, yeah, they would say, "Oh, you've got maybe a water leak." Well, I didn't have one.
We didn't have one,
Right.
so there's got to be something different.
Somebody manipulated. That's what I'm
something
thinking.
did,
but-
yeah, something
yeah.
happened. Well, to
We'll
be
find out.
to be continued till
It
the
will.
next time. So
That's right.
we threw a lot at you right now, but hey, it's happening here. Don't forget the city council meeting. Be there.
That's right.